right, welcome to One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. I'm your host, Kirk DeMars, and today is Monday, October the 14th. I had to think about that for just a second. It's flying by really quick. And guess what? Christmas is just around the corner. I know you wanted to hear that, but we have to start thinking about it because it's starting to get a little cool out there. And I really respect people like our guest that we have on tonight, uh, doing the different things that she has to do in order to remain a top level at student athlete, running out in the cold. I just don't even like being out in the cold, so I don't even want to know about running out in the cold. But anyway, we've got a, very very neat young lady on the program, and it is Kenzleigh Goans, and she is a student athlete at California High School, and she is, as you can see, a well accomplished student athlete, track and cross country. She's in the middle of cross country right now, and getting ready to have their conference meet, and we'll talk to her a little bit about that and some other things. I really hope you enjoy the program and getting to know a little bit extra about Kenzleigh Goans tonight. And so with that, let's go ahead and bring her on. Hey, Kenzleigh, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Well, good. I'm glad you could join us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you look, even though you had practice, you look like you're fresh, ready to go. You're
Oh
pumped
yeah.
up. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Good. I want to just, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We'll talk about some different things. And, remember, mom and dad are probably watching. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit about your article and what you enjoyed about that and the photo shoot.
So overall, I mean, the article was amazing. I read it and like it was just amazing. Like the way that my words were put on the magazine. I mean, I just loved it. And it really gave me an opportunity to kind of like reminisce over all the positive things of not only my cross country, but I mean also my track
Hmm.
seasons. And it I like being represented as a Pinto, and it's cool to be represented for California, and it
Yeah.
was just a great opportunity, and the
Well,
photos turned out amazing too.
if I remember right, it was a little cold out that day, if I
Oh my
remember right.
gosh,
Yeah.
yes,
So
it was freezing.
there's your photo. I mean, we just love the colors. Absolutely pops. You did a great job. And then we had that picture, and because it was cold, I remember that you were brave
Yeah,
and took off the Letterman's jacket, and yeah. So
yeah,
the
it was
things
chilly
the
that day.
things you have to do in order to be in a magazine. So thank you.
Yes,
We
of course,
appreciate that.
thank you.
All right. So any autographs, anything like that? People been having you autograph your article?
Not yet, not yet.
Oh, man. You would think that,
I know.
well, I guess your dad's probably trying to keep you humble. That might be part of it.
Yeah.
So, all right, good. Well, hey, your title was talking about putting wings on my feet. So, what does that mean, and what significance does that have to you?
So, put wings on my feet. I mean, it's been a quote from my former teammate, Cameron Wingate.
Mhm.
She was also featured on Sports Locker for wrestling, and she always said the quote before all of our cross country races, and it was during our prayer. And it honestly just kind of means like whenever we're weak in our sport, I mean, God is strong for us, and God is always there whenever, we're fighting through our races. So it's always been a good symbol for cross country. And although she graduated, I still kind of want to keep her quote. And so I've still been saying it before all of our races,
Uh-huh.
during our prayer times. And I'm hoping that whenever I graduate, hopefully that quote will get passed down to
Yeah.
the next generation of runners.
No, very
So,
good. Well, you mentioned your faith a little bit in the article. Why don't you share a little bit about that and why that's important to you?
so yeah, God, I mean, God is just truly amazing. He's a miracle worker. And I like all of my injuries. Like, I can only thank God for, like, being able to come out of those injuries and still doing well in my sports, and I think without God, I would not be the athlete that I am today, and I would not be where I am in life because, I mean, I think you have to have God in your life to, like, kind of fulfill like your dreams and stuff and what you want to make out of yourself. So, really, God has been there with me throughout my whole life.
Well, good. Um, you also talked about it in your article that you've been running for a long time. Tell us about your journey and starting at an early age.
Oh, yeah. So, my first race was whenever I was in elementary, and I ran at Boonville. And it was a huge deal because there was this girl who was undefeated in all of the races, and she got first in all her events, and her times were insane, and everybody knew that she was going to be at that race. And so it was my first race, so I was a little nervous, but I was kind of excited for the challenge. And I ended up racing and I ended up beating her, and everybody was talking about it, and everybody was telling my dad that I'm going to be a great runner. And I think my competitiveness truly showed back then because
Mhm.
I still remember winning first place at that meet. And
That's awesome.
so, yeah, ever since then, I love the sport.
Well, good. I can remember my daughter. There was a period of time where she was wanting to start running, and so she wanted me to help her with that a little bit. So we went out and we trained, and there was a particular race coming up, and I'm trying to remember how old she was, but I know she was under 10, I think. But anyway, it came time for race day. We had talked about the pace. When the gun goes off, everybody's going to run as fast as they can, and then they're going to get tired. I said, just go at a good pace to begin with and just keep that up. Well, sure enough, gun goes off. She takes off sprinting like everybody else. And then she goes all the
Yeah.
way down. I see her coming back. I meet her down at a distance and she starts going, Dad, I'm so tired. I can't make it. I can't make it. And I said, honey, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. There's a boy getting ready to pass you here in just a minute, but don't be concerned about that. I said that, and that girl went. She took off
Oh,
and
yeah.
she did not let that boy beat her, so she finished the race that
Hmm.
way. So, I
Good.
guess, that's good. It's amazing what motivates you, so good.
Hmm. For sure.
Speaking about what motivates you, tell us a little bit about your dad. How has he impacted your love for the sport?
Yeah, so my dad, in high school he used to run, and he was a track athlete. That was his main sport. He loved it so much. And cross country was not a thing back then whenever he was in high school. So he was in more of the longer races in track, like the 800-mile, 2 mile, that type of stuff. And I honestly think that his love for the sport was a big reason why I love the sport because it's a great way for me and him to kind of connect. And I think, I mean, it's just so nice like having my dad there to like support me throughout like my races and stuff because I know he like gets what I'm getting. Like
Yeah.
whenever I'm going through the hardships, he knows what I'm talking about because he's been there.
All right. Very good. Quick question. I mean, no condemnation if not, but does your mom run with you guys?
Mm, no, she doesn't really like to run, but she'll support me. She'll
Yeah.
support me on the side. She'll be
Yeah.
cheering.
Yeah. Sometimes moms just do a lot of other things that are very
Oh yeah.
important as far as
Oh
like
yeah.
helping us get by and live. I mean, that's important.
Mhm. Literally, yes.
Good. What is you talk about in your article the greatest joy of running that you have a lot is developing close relationships. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've developed so many friendships through cross country and track, and they're my closest friendships too. Like Allie Heather, who is later going to be featured in Sports Locker, I hear, for track, which is super exciting. She and I started cross country for California in seventh grade. And I mean, ever since we both started running together, we instantly bonded. And I've been best friends with her ever since. And I've also had many other friendships. Like each year, it's so hard seeing the seniors graduate because, like, you just develop like those close bonds with them and you run with them for cross country and then usually track as well. And then you see them graduate. And it's just so hard
Yeah.
because you just spend so much time.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. And so you looked up to those people, and then when they're gone, you know, that's a part of it seems like that's a part of your life that, it's hard to get back. I know that
Mhm.
I just my class reunion, I'm not even gonna tell you how many years it was, but it was a lot. Okay, they just had that, and, I look at that small group of people that showed up there. I didn't make it back, but, um, I was remembering some of those relationships and take advantage of them while you can, and sounds like that's what you're doing.
Definitely, yes.
Speak about people that, let's just talk about people that like you. Let's see. Stacy Friedrich says, "Love this girl. Ken's has the best
Oh,
attitude and is the hardest worker, a big talent." So that's awesome.
that's so
Thank you,
sweet.
Stacy. Appreciate that. That was good. Anybody else that wants to make any comments or have any questions, feel free to put them on there. We'll try to get to those if we can possibly bring them up. And if it's too hard, Kinsley will just shake her head. No, I don't want to answer that. So, or if it's too incriminating, you just tell me, cut, don't do that. Okay.
Alright.
All right. Talk about some of those challenges that you've had physically and fighting through different injuries.
Yeah, so I've actually had quite a bit of injuries, throughout my running career. My freshman year, I had shin splints, and that was like my first big injury. So it was kind of a mental struggle as well, kind of having to fight through that. And I ended up missing a bunch of meets for that, and I didn't race until districts. Like, I missed 4 meets and then raced at districts, but I ended up going to state and I medaled at state. So, I mean, everything worked out really well. And then my sophomore year, I had a hip injury, and it was from growth plate, like inflammation on my growth plate. And oh my gosh, I remember it was the day before sectionals for track, and we were doing warm ups, like just getting ready for an easy day since we were gonna go race the next day.
Hmm.
And I just like could not do any warm ups. And like I didn't do anything. It just was hurting really bad. And I wasn't gonna run the next day, but I think my competitiveness just kind of kicked in. And
Hmm.
I was like, no, like I'm gonna run the next day no matter what. Like no matter if I'm limping, I'm running. And I was supposed to run the 800, the mile, and the 2 mile, but I ended up only running the 800.
Hmm.
But I ended up breaking the record at that meet,
That's
and
crazy.
I advanced to state as well. So it
Yeah.
was, I mean, like I said earlier, like God works miracles, and
Yeah.
that is the only like reason that I can give for that.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah,
amazing. Breaking the record with a hip injury.
that's what I'm saying. I
That's
know
awesome.
it's crazy.
Uh, so in those injuries, how were you able to work through that? And tell us a little bit about the physical therapy, some different things. And I do want you to explain a little bit to people what shin splints are.
Hmm.
Person may think, well, that doesn't sound too bad. For a
Hmm.
runner, I mean, that's a big deal. So why don't you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that?
Okay, so yeah, so shin splints, it's just this pain in your shin that you get. So whenever like your foot hits the ground, you just feel like a sharp pain like shoot up your shin. And it's like that like every single step that I took. And it's a big mental thing, injuries are, because I mean, not only is it physically hurting your body, but it's mentally like draining not being able to do what you love. And so it was also hard for me to kind of know my limits with my injuries and like sit out from meets and practices when I knew that was best for, my physical health, even though mentally I did not want to do that. But for physical therapy, I went to Peak in town, and I mean that was a great use of my time. They gave me so many good exercises for not only my hip but also like my knee problems that I've had, and I mean they were a great help. And also my community has given me so many good opportunities for my injuries. like our city pool has allowed me to swim in there
Hmm.
whenever I can't go to practices and stuff, which has been so great. And it's definitely strengthened my hip and my knee and all of
Hmm.
that. And also, our gym in California, Reset, they have let me kind of do some, like the arc trainer there that they have, and use some of their machines.
Hmm.
And it's been so easy on my joints and stuff. And so all of that has really helped with my injuries, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, the process of that. So, some of the things that you learned through that are those things helping you for preventative care?
So I I realized, like, it's mostly just overworking my body, like with
Hmm.
running, just because I run so many miles for cross country and track. It's kind of just overworking. There's not really anything to prevent these injuries,
Hmm.
but the physical therapy exercises that I have, they're like really good for like strengthening those like
Hmm.
joints. And so I think those exercises will definitely prevent
Yeah.
former
Yeah, good.
or future injuries.
Good. I know that a lot of distance runners typically rotate shoes. Is that something that you do?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I usually do, so I have a pair of spikes
Hmm.
for each season, and then I have 2 pairs of running shoes, and I usually like to wear Hoka's and Brooks, and I'll change, like, a pair of shoe out each, like, new season.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
And they're not inexpensive either.
No. They're pretty pricey, but
Yeah, but it's
it is what it
important.
is. You gotta do what you gotta do.
That's right. It's important. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about your academic achievements and what you appreciate about your school and faculty. I mean, you
Mhm.
had 4.0, and I mean, talk about maintaining all that.
Yeah, it's been hard, especially with like doing academic work like with sports and stuff and other clubs. I mean, it's hard kind of keeping track of everything, but I mean, I've just learned like organization skills and that stuff. And so, yeah, I do have over a 4.0 GPA, and I'm also academic wise, I'm a member of National Honor Society. And for my school, I'm honestly so proud to be a Pinto. Um, both of my sisters graduated from California, as well as my parents. And both of my parents are also employees. My
Hmm.
mom is a middle school counselor, and my dad is the assistant principal for middle
Hmm.
school. So, I mean, I love my school, and I'm so excited to just
Yeah,
be a part of everything.
yeah. So, how's that? How's that for you? How's that feel with mom and dad being in, um, you know, working at the middle school? I mean, obviously they're not at the high school, so that gives you a
Yeah,
little bit of breathing room. But
big difference, yes. I like it because it's kinda nice just having them there right with me, like, whenever I need them, and, like, I always have their support because 'cause they're right there, but, yeah, it's also a little different, though, because they are right there with me,
yeah,
but
well,
since they're at the middle school, it's not bad.
no, I'm sure you have. I mean, they're proud of you, and I'm sure they get glowing reports about you from the high school, and so it's no sweat, no sweat off your
Yeah.
brow. That's good. Something neat that happened is that you were able to go to Washington D.C. You were selected to go there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and what that experience was about?
Yeah, so we have a youth tour trip every year, and it's each summer. And my English teacher, Dana Barr, she gives the assignment to all of us juniors, and we have to make a video about like a prompt that Como Electric gives us, and we make our video about it and we turn it into them, and one person from each district is selected to get an all expense free paid trip to Washington, D.C. And I was luckily selected, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity because it was such a fun trip. It was amazing seeing the nation's capital and all of the monuments and the changing of the guards. I met so many new people, made so many new friends. Overall, it was such a great experience. It was
Well,
great.
cool. Yeah, that's awesome. What was your favorite? What was your favorite part on the sightseeing? What thing do you remember the most?
I Out of everything, I think I loved Mount Vernon.
Hmm.
Mount Vernon, it's, Washington's house, George Washington's house, and
Hmm.
it was beautiful, like, seeing all of, like, the different walls and the designs, and the Potomac River was right there, so the scenery was, like, beautiful, and I loved it.
Well, very cool. Very good. We'll get into the scenery part, which I know that your family appreciates. Well, at least your dad. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But for
Mhm.
right now, let's go ahead and take a quick sponsor break, and we'll be right back. You're doing an outstanding job.
Sounds good.
All right.
CNS Business Services has been connecting employees with employers since 1977. Recently, CNS rebranded to CNS Employment Solutions to more clearly define their mission of serving the needs of applicants, employees, and businesses while remaining current and evolving with the changes in the workforce. One important thing has not changed. CNS Employment Solutions partners with a wide variety of employers, placing employees in jobs that match their skills and needs.
Say yes to CNS.
All right, CNS Employment Solutions, they've been a sponsor with the program for, I mean, almost since our inception on One Nation, a Sports Locker Magazine Extra, and a sponsor in Sports Locker Magazine as far as representing great student athletes like Kenzleigh Goans. And we love being able to tell her story, get out and meet student athletes like her. And just it's an honor and a privilege to be able to represent our schools right here in mid Missouri, as well as the student athletes. And some another group that is very important to represent are the coaches. And so we have a Big Whiskies as a sponsor for our coach of the issue, and they each issue we come out, we have a coach that we represent, and you guys are going to get to see Kinsley's dad sometime in the first part of next year in one of our issues. So we'll get his story, but we've got a coach of the issue right here, Coach Joel Henley of Capital City, and we appreciate Big Whiskies representing our coaches because they put in a lot of time and they really pour into our student athletes and mentor them as well as training them to not only be good on the field of play, but also training them to be strong young men and women in the classroom, as well as preparing them for their future. So, thank you to all of our coaches. All right, so we've been talking to Kenzleigh Goins, and let's go ahead and get to our second half. She's doing an outstanding job, and she's still here. She's not left. She didn't hang up on me, so good. That's great.
Yep, I'm still here.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you're doing an outstanding job, and we enjoyed doing this program because we get to dig into the your article a little bit, as well as find out a little bit more. Where we have only so many words that we can fit into, the amount of space that we have. But that's why I love doing this. So thanks again for taking your time.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts of things. Tell us about your career in cross country and track, and what are some of the highlights, records, and awards?
So, some of the highlights from my cross country and track season have definitely just been in general all of our team bonding activities. Like, for example, like we've gone haunted housing and we'll go on like late night runs or we'll have like team dinners. And I just think that's so important for a team to kind of be connected. And so, really, all of those are just my highlights. That's like the most fun part of everything. And some records that I have. My freshman year, I got the 5K record. And then my sophomore year, I got the 800-meter record. And then my junior year, I got the mile record and then our 4x8 record. And our 4x8 was incredible because, like, as a team, we kind of always, like, hoped, like, one day maybe we'd be able to get it. But we it was just crazy, like, actually being able to get it because it seems so far out of reach until, I mean, we just had our best races and we got it.
Very good. Well, you know what? Here's somebody that I know thinks a lot about you. Grandpa Howard is watching. That's what he.
Oh.
Thank thank you, Grandpa Howard, for coming on. I know she appreciates that. Um, Kinsley, why don't you share a little bit? So you've been to state. Talk about placement there and just accomplishments there, and just kind of that atmosphere.
Yeah, so state is, I mean, it's so overwhelming whether it's cross country or track because obviously it's the meet that so many people are at.
Mhm.
And I have made it to state my freshman, sophomore, and junior year for cross country. And then for track, I have made it my sophomore and junior year.
Mhm.
And it's, I mean, it's a great experience.
Mhm.
It's like where everybody has their best racing, and I love the meets at state so much because like everybody there, you know you're racing against good people,
Mhm.
and you know like you're gonna set yourself up to have a good time, like no matter like the outcome, whether you medal or you don't. So overall, it's been great running at state.
Yeah. So now tell us about the medals that you had in your picture that you have over the top of your Letterman circle.
Mhm.
Tell us about those.
Yeah, so I medaled my freshman year for cross country. I got 15th place.
Mhm.
And then my sophomore year, I got 8th place.
Mhm.
And then my junior year cross country, I got 15th place again.
Mhm.
And then for track this year, well, not this year, but last year, I got 8th place at
Mhm.
state. So I was right there at the end.
Yeah, very good. Congratulations. And what are your goals for this year? You got cross
My
country coming
goals,
up right now. I
yep,
mean,
yep.
close.
My goals are honestly to just keep on beating my times, like keep on inching closer to where I want to be. And I mean, overall, just kind of making it to state again. I'm hoping to get back there with all the really good
Mhm.
girls. So that's
Okay.
overall my main goals.
Awesome. Very good. Well, what's different for you in training with cross country compared to track? Tell us a little bit about the differences in that training.
So the main difference is I'd say cross country is just more mileage. I mean, track is more speed because since I'm doing the 800 meter, I'm kind of working on my sprints and my finishes. And so that's like the main difference. And cross country is more like trail runs and stuff, whereas track, you're obviously just running around in circles on the track. So, yeah, that's the main difference. Everything else is pretty much the same training.
Okay. Well, this is a great segue into this next question. Your dad took us to what he said was his favorite place to run so that we could do his photo shoot for his article that's going to be coming out this next year. Uh, Lots of hills and gravel road. And I'm talking, we drove a long ways out there. Tell us about, tell us about that and how tough is that run?
Yep, so you are talking about the famous Airport Road, and
That's it.
every runner that has ran for California high school, they know what Airport Road is. And oh my goodness. Whenever the coaches say that we're running there, we know it's going to be a hard race because just if you're just standing and looking at all of the hills, it's insane like thinking that we're actually going to be running that. And from other people, it looks like torture, but for us runners, it's just that's just what we do.
It's just
So,
what you do.
yeah, I think it's like a great symbol of like cross country runners
Yeah.
because it shows like our inner strength that we have to just kind of make it over those hills and come
Yeah.
right back.
Well, it made for an absolute great picture with your dad out there with that in the background,
Good.
and our photographer Katie, my daughter, she loved it. So it was uh, it was a lot of fun being able to go out there with him. I did have to wash my car after we got done because there was a lot of
Yeah,
dust. But
it is dusty. It is
yeah,
dusty.
uh, we had Kendra Hall. She said, "Go Kinsley." So thank
Oh,
you for joining
thank
us,
you, Kendra.
Kendra. Appreciate that. All right. Let's see. What are your goals? Um, let's talk about some of your goals in finishing out this school year, your senior year. along with your classmates? What do you want to achieve, and what do you want to be known for when you leave?
So I'm hoping to keep my 4.0 and maybe like even my over 4.0. I really just want to be known as like a hard worker because like not only do I am I like smart, but I also like I feel like I work very hard for what I do. Like all of my classes, I make sure to like put my best effort in. And so I just want to be known as like the student that's like responsible as well as like highly involved in other events because I'm also our student body president for student council, and I try to like keep involved in my school, and I also want that to be kind of part of my legacy while leaving.
Yeah, not like you don't have anything else to do. You're a student
Yeah.
body president. So, I mean, how do you do that? Are you running by the school and said, "Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Keep up the good work." I mean, you just run by them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, this is interesting. We'll say that. But uh, Tyler, hope, am I pronouncing that right? Is it Tyler? Okay,
Tyler.
Tyler. Okay. So proud of you, sis. Great interview. And
Aw.
so, also Stacy says, and she can sing. We got to hear about that. Tell us about that.
Yep. Yes, I'm also in chamber choir or Sounds of Joy. And it's like the most advanced choir that we have at California High School. And I love being a part of it. Actually, last year I was Cinderella in our
Okay.
musical. So that was a great opportunity. It was so
Yeah.
much fun. And we do so many events for choir, and I just love it.
Yeah. That's great. Anything planned this year for that?
For the musical,
Uh-huh. Are you gonna?
this year it's all about the Princess and the Pea. So that's
Okay.
what we're doing this year. And I'm
Okay.
one of the princesses, so
All
I'm
right.
really excited for it.
Yeah. Very good. Can have the stacked mattresses, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
All right. Now this next question, I found this very interesting, and you're gonna have to explain this a little bit because it's kind of scary, with this question here. Tell us about Coach Baker and especially the quote that says, "When it gets grim, be the grim reaper." Tell us about
Oh
that.
yeah. So yeah, Coach Baker, he's just a hilarious coach. I mean, he invests so much time in his runners, and he's a great coach. He started saying this quote like last year, and I thought it was so funny. And it actually comes from Andy Reid, who is the Chiefs football coach. And so he started saying it at our meets, like to kind of hype us up. And really, it's like just kind of signifying like when it gets tough, you just got to fight through the tough.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of a way to kind of connect with us runners and
Okay.
just like a fun way. It was really fun.
Okay, so if he's stealing Andy Reid's quotes like that, is he also involving, like, Andy Reid likes cheeseburgers. Does he have a cheeseburger when he's telling you all that, or no?
He's not. He's
Okay,
not.
okay. That's probably good, because if he's
Yeah,
going to run with you.
probably. Yeah.
Um, Now let's go ahead and talk about your dad as coach, and how does he mentor and challenge you?
Yeah, so I mean, my dad is a great coach, and I mean, I love the fact that he's my dad as well because he's there for me like whenever, whether it's like in my life or in like my running career. And he always pushes me to do my best, but what I love about him is like he also knows my limits, and so he knows whenever it's kind of, time is up for me to kind of,
Mhm,
slow it down or, maybe stop running if like I'm struggling with an injury or something.
mhm,
And he's also a very hands-on coach. Like he loves to run with his athletes, which I love about him because I think it's hard for athletes to like be told something if their coach is not, like
mhm.
doing the same thing. And so I love that he'll like come on runs with us and stuff. However, since, he's 50, he's over 50, he's
Well,
he's kind of
be
starting to slow
careful.
down.
Be careful.
He's
I'm
kind of
over
starting to slow
50.
down, and his runners are kind of overpowering him,
Uh-huh.
but he's still running there with us every
Yeah.
step of the way. So
So we'll just ask that. Can you beat him now?
I can beat him now. Back
Okay.
in his prime though, whenever he was in high school, no way.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to coach, and then you tell people. But I do want to share with you real quick what he said is that he said that as your coach and as your daddy, I mean, he's proud of you and the fact that um, you work hard, you have a good work ethic, and your expectations are high, and you're not taking it off because your dad's the coach. He said you're one of his hardest workers, and so that speaks volumes about the kind of student athlete you are and your dedication. So that
Yeah,
was good. Yeah,
that is sweet. That's good.
yeah. Say, Dad, I appreciate that.
I will. I'll have to tell him.
All right. Uh, what do you love about him now as a coach? But what do you love about him as a father?
So overall, I mean, my dad's just been like so involved in my life and anything I do, whether it's clubs or sports or academics. I mean, he always wants me to do my best. And yeah, I've kind of taken that with me everywhere. He's always there with me. And he's always like whenever I was younger and stuff, he would always like play outdoors with me and was always wanting to, kind of keep me involved. And so I just love that about him.
Yeah, very good. Graham is so proud of you, Kinsley, and that was from Grandma Vaughn. So that's awesome.
Thank you, Graham.
Yeah, it's good. Now let's talk about your mom and what do you love about her and how has she impacted your life?
Yeah. So my mom is someone who will always push me to like be involved in school and community stuff and will kind of like push me out of my comfort zone. But I'm so grateful for that because it's opened up so many opportunities, like youth tour, especially. Like she kind of pushed me to do my absolute best for that. And it gave me like the trip to Washington. So there's so many examples like that I can think of that my mom has allowed me the opportunity for those things.
Very good. Now you mentioned your sisters. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your siblings and how have they impacted your life? What did you learn from them?
Yeah, so I have two older siblings. Tyler Houston. She is 32, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong if she's not. And she's just a great sister. She also is kind of like my mom. She's like my second mom since
Hmm.
she's like so much older than me. And I think she also wants me to be a hard worker, and she's just so sweet and she's involved in my life. She comes to like my cross country meets and makes sure she keeps up with everything that I'm doing. And I just love that about her. And my other sibling as well, Ashton Goans, she's 26 and she lives in St. Louis. And
Okay.
she also loves to keep involved in my life. And
Hmm.
I think they've both just been very supportive with everything I do. And they also want me to be like my best self.
Hmm.
And I love that about them.
Very good. They'll just be able to pull this up and play it over and over. This is what our sister said about us. Wasn't that
Oh,
nice?
yeah, they're going to love it.
Very good. What are your plans beyond high school, and does it involve running as well?
So yeah, after high school, I don't know 100% sure where I want to go to college, but I've pretty well thought about the University of Missouri, Kansas City. And the reason why is because they have a really good PA program, which is what I want to do, a physician assistant. And I also definitely want to run in college. So they gave me an offer to run there. So it seems like a pretty good deal. So that's kind of where I'm thinking, but I have not fully accepted yet.
Oh, good. All right. Well, you've got a little bit of time left, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
good. Well, you have, let's see, you put wings on your feet and you flew through this interview. You've done an outstanding job, but we got to have a little bit of fun with you yet. Let's
All
do a
right.
quick little speed round. Just ask you some fun questions. What is your go-to snack or food after a cross country or track meet?
Mm,
Gotta have it.
I'd have to say my go-to, oh, Chick-fil-A is always so good after a meet. I know it's probably not the best choice,
Uh-huh.
but oh my gosh, it sounds so good.
Okay,
I'd
so
have to say
so
Chick-fil-A.
what's the item that, your favorite item that you'll
Oh yeah,
typically go
I
for?
get the spicy chicken sandwich, and
There
then
you
I
go.
get their fries and a sweet tea. So
Okay,
good.
there you go. That's it.
Yep.
Um, and that I have to say that is pretty good.
Mhm.
You're gonna be making some people hungry right now.
I
Um,
know.
if there's anywhere in the world that you could go, where would that be and why?
Mm, honestly, I've always wanted to go to Hawaii.
Okay.
I think it's just, I mean, I love the beach. I love any type of beach. And everybody says that Hawaii has such a good beach.
Uh-huh.
And I also want to, like, kind of like travel away. So I feel like that'd be a fun place to go.
Yeah, that'd be good. Now, if you happen to go there, I understand. Do you like coffee?
I love coffee.
Okay, so my friend that lives there, when he comes back to the States, he brings coffee from Kona because it's so good. He can't handle the stuff in the States here anymore. He has to have his own coffee with him. So you'd have to try that when you go there. And I'm
I
saying
will.
when you go there, I'm saying that because you're going to go there because that's on your
Oh, yes.
bucket list. So
Yep.
good. Okay, so you talked about princesses earlier. So Disney princess that most resembles you.
Mm, most resembles me. I'd have to say probably Merida from Brave.
Okay.
Either that or Rapunzel from Tangled.
Okay.
I love both of those princesses so much.
All right. I did not see the one from Brave. I did see Tangled because my daughter watched it over and over and over again,
Mhm.
as well as grandkids watched it over and over again. Actually, it was my grandkids, my granddaughter, and she loved that one
Yeah.
so much so that she had the little wig and everything that went with
Oh
that.
my
So yeah,
goodness.
yep, it was pretty good. Okay, now here's the important one. What chore around the house is your least favorite to do and why?
Mm. Oh, cleaning toilets for sure.
Okay.
I hate cleaning toilets.
I would,
It grosses me out.
we have not had very many people say that, but I would completely agree with you that that is something that just, yeah, probably the least favorite to do.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, would mom agree with that?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely think so. Nobody wants to clean toilets.
Okay. All right. All right, Kinsley, you've done an outstanding job. I want to go ahead and give you an opportunity to make any final comments. Maybe people watching, whatever you want to say or share, go ahead and do that, and then I'll close out the program.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for commenting. I mean, I appreciate it so much. It's so sweet, and I'm gonna read them all. And I just want to say thank you. And I also want to thank you, Kirk, for
Absolutely.
allowing me to be here. I mean, thank you for, my article in Sports Locker and all
Yeah.
of that, and photos, and this interview. I mean, it's just been a great opportunity and all. So I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's completely our honor. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but if you haven't contacted Katie, our photographer, for all of your pictures, you can
Hmm.
contact her at that email and she will send them all to you for free. She likes to do that for student
Perfect.
athletes. So, okay.
I definitely will. Thank you.
All right. Yes, very good. If you'll hold on while I close out the program, I'll visit with you real quick afterwards and then we'll go forward. Great job.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. We had Kenzleigh Goans from California High School, and what an amazing young lady. I do want to read here real quick. Um, Melanie Porter. Melanie, she has been a staple with Sports Locker Magazine and One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. She said, "Good luck with the rest of your senior cross country season and track season. I've enjoyed seeing all you've accomplished so far." Thank you, Melanie. You're awesome. Uh, as well as you guys are awesome. Make sure you share this program like it, do all the different things we can to get this great interview with Kenzleigh out to other people. And I hope you join us next week. Next week will be our 200th episode of One Nation. So looking forward to that. And thank you guys so much for joining us. And as always, God bless you, and we'll see you next week.